Right, laddies. As you know, I've been replaying Banjo-Kazooie, and I have finally finished it. I've enjoyed the whole ride. I've enjoyed everything. TikTok Woods, absolutely brutal part of the game. I spent so many hours there. Same for Rusty Bucket Bay. I spent so many hours there. And then it came to the actual boss fight against Gruntilda, and the fact that the actual final boss fight is literally a quiz of everything which has happened in the game. So, I mean, you both played Banjo-Kazooie. You both finished it, haven't you?
No, I've never played it.
Yeah.
You've never played it?
No.
Right, so do you not know anything about the final boss then?
No.
Okay, so the final boss is it's like a grid sort of layout with like different routes you can go to, and every tile on this grid has a different icon. So if it's got a musical note one, what you have to do is listen to the game, and it will say which voice, well, this voice belongs to which character, or it could be this soundtrack belongs to which area you've been to. So you have to go through it and you have to guess. It's a multiple choice. So you go onto that tile, and then you'd have to do that question. Then there'll be other tiles like time limit ones where you have to do one of the missions for a jiggy, which is under a time limit, and you've got to basically repeat that. Or you might have tiles which is like facts about the game, like here's a screenshot. Where do you think this is? Or there'll be like factual things like which enemy will steal Kazooie's eggs. And you need to remember of all the enemies you've beaten, what enemies have said mechanics. So it's literally just an amalgamation of everything which has happened in the game. And you've just basically just got to know it all. So, I mean, if you're deaf, you'll never complete it. If you're obviously, you're not going to complete it if you're blind, because you're not going to be able to actually see really what's going on. But I think that's a really sort of interesting game mechanic. Like the final boss is basically a quiz of everything in the game. So my question to you guys is, in terms of like all the games you've played, or even ones you've not played, but you've seen and watched, what do you think are some of the most interesting boss mechanics you've ever seen out there, and why do you like said interesting boss mechanics?
The end from Metal Gear Solid 3.
Oh, is this the one where you've got to turn the console off and turn it back on?
Well, that's one way. It's basically a big long sniper battle, and one way of beating him is making him die of old age.
Yeah.
And I swear, I bet people were trying to do it, and then they're like, "Oh, you know what? I'll save it for another day." Load it up, and he's just fucking dead. It's like, oh, I was gonna try have another go, but now he's dead. He died of old age.
What are you, Chris?
I'm having a really hard think about this one, because I'm trying to think more mechanics and less what are my favourite boss fights. But I think, having staring at my wall of games, I'm probably going to have to give it to Mr. Freeze from Arkham City.
Oh, that's a fantastic boss fight.
What's that
It
one?
really is. So
we spoke about this on the podcast before, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically it's more of a sort of stealth boss fight. How like Mr. Freeze goes around, and you can't take him on like head on. Like you're just like in a little arena, and there's like certain ways you can take him out, like get him from like under a vent, attack him from above, get him from like behind a destructible wall, something like that. But every time you take him out in like a certain way, he will like cover it up or learn about that attack pattern, so you can no longer use it again. So you're forced to use like about 6 or 7 different ways of taking him down. So it really like tests all your gameplay skills. So I think that one's pretty good mechanically.
Yeah, it's really good. I think what I said before was just like I felt story-wise it was out of place, but it's like the best boss fight in the game.
Yeah, it is.
So just to further on what we've been talking about, do you feel like a lot of the things which have happened with bosses, like a lot of the time it's just a repeat of the same tropes, like
oh yeah, of course,
or it's just another big bad, you just got to fight it as normal or whatnot. But I mean, of the interesting boss fights that have been out there, like would you say a lot of them are memorable, or do you think it just bleeds into the realm of games or whatever?
A lot of them do bleed into the realm of games, but like the ones that are different normally stick out. Like a lot of the I gave a Metal Gear one. A lot of the Metal Gear Solid bosses are pretty memorable. Pretty much near enough all of them, mostly. Like, there's a few that I forget, but for the most part, they're all pretty memorable.
Probably from the first one more than anyone. The first game's got a lot of different variety of how you take them all down.
Yeah, like if you're just saying like in general, like bosses in general. Yeah, I think so many bosses just in games just bleed into one. And some are just like, right, they take Nintendo are fucking bad with this, But how many Nintendo games or how many Nintendo bosses have you thought that was a head and hands?
Oh yeah, tons of that. I was just thinking, like, if you're doing like different gameplay mechanics, I mean, if you shake it up a bit, then it works well. Then fantastic. But there's so many where they change up the mechanics too much, and it's not like the same kind of gameplay, and it's very either jarring, and half the time it doesn't work. And the one that sticks to mind straight away is Star Fox Adventures, where like the whole thing plays like a Zelda game, and then the last boss is like a head and hands, but you're in the fighter pilot. Is like, why? I mean, okay, yeah, this is Star Fox, but this is completely different to the rest of the game. But it makes you feel like all like the health upgrades and everything you've got across the entire adventure completely pointless for the last boss because you fight it a completely different way.
So you know how I mentioned about what the actual final boss fight is of Banjo-Kazooie? How it's basically like a grid and it's basically like a quiz of everything that happened in the game.
It's a board game. Yeah.
So what games do you think, if it had that same exact boss fight, which games do you think you could actually complete? If they gave you a quiz on everything that happened in the game, like which voice actor did this, or where are you in this, or what enemy does this? Like, which games do you think, if it was like a proper in-depth quiz of everything that happened, how many games do you think you could technically complete? Or which ones do you think you struggle with the most?
I think there'll be quite a few. I think for all of us, there'll be quite a few that we would have a good go at.
I reckon I could do like the Soulsborne, but I still think I'd struggle with Neo because there's probably still some voice actors in there and enemies, which I'm just like, oh, who the fuck are you? Like, what is that enemy called? I've got no idea. But I mean, there's probably like 90% of the games I've played I won't be able to complete because I mean, it's only been really recently that I've become like an absolute completionist on games like Digimon World, for example, how I bled, or Dark Chronicle and Dark Cloud. I bled so much time into those that I probably would be able to ace them in a quiz. But it's just like a lot of games out there which I was just like, oh fuck knows, I don't know. I'll just turn it off. I don't know the answer to this.
Yeah, I think if I had one of like Final Fantasy 9, of course, yeah, probably Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, maybe Dark Souls 1, maybe not. I don't know. I think there's quite a few games that I could easily do a quiz just like that, you know.
But shall we set up like a Victory Achieved pub quiz where we just pick games and just quiz each other, and we'll see how much do you actually know about the game?
A special where we just do a quiz. I don't know. Yeah,
so like we just do rotations and we'll be like, okay, the topic of this question will be Dark Souls 2, or the topic of this will be Super Mario 64.
Who knows?
So I reckon I'll be shit. It's like, you know, when you play Trivial Pursuit, I'm just like, oh fucking hell.
Well, from the pirate quiz I did, maybe you will be shit. Welcome to Victory Achieved Podcast, a video game podcast. I am Dan and I'm with Brandon and Chris.
Hello.
Hello.
This is episode 39, boys.
Oh, we're reaching that midlife crisis point for episodes.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. But...
So, the other day, I was talking to my mate and he sent me a message. While we were having a chat, he sent me in amongst what we were talking about, he went to me. He'd been playing Breath of the Wild, and he was like, oh, "I'm really enjoying this." And I think the week before, or week and a half before, we were talking this week on that day. That made no sense, but before we were talking, he got a Switch and he was asking for recommendations. So I recommended him 3 games. Recommended him Mario Kart, because why wouldn't you get Mario Kart for the Switch? I recommended him Super Mario Odyssey because it's a good Super Mario game, and then Zelda Breath of the Wild because, well, I put in over 100 hours and I know he liked Zelda, so I thought it was a no-brainer. And I don't know if he got Super Mario Odyssey, but he definitely got Mario Kart and Breath of the Wild. And yeah, while we were talking, he was like, Oh, thanks for the recommendation. I'm really enjoying Breath of the Wild. He was like, oh, I'm trying to do this. And I was like, not even I've done that. And I've put in over 100 hours. Maybe because I don't feel ready for it. But, yeah, I was just wondering, have you ever recommended something to someone and then they've come back to you and said, "Oh, thanks for the recommendation," or vice versa.
Oh, that's a fucking question and a half.
Yeah, I know. I think I remember. This is nothing game related, but one of my workmates, he and I, we're big into music, and he recommended me the latest Amy and the Sniffers album, and I remember marching towards him the next day when I came in after I listened to it, and he was just like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on with Dan?" And I literally marched up to him and went, "Thanks for that album recommendation. It's amazing," and then walked off. He was just like, "Whoa."
Well, I've got one. I think probably the most prominent example I can think of was when Dark Souls 2 came out. I really, really enjoyed Dark Souls 2. And then when I was at university, one of my, not flatmates, but he lived in the same area as me, and, we'd go drinking his every week. He was just like, there's another game coming out. It's basically Dark Souls with guns. And I was just like, don't be silly. Like, what the hell are you talking about? And I was like, oh yeah, it's a new game by the same people as Dark Souls called Bloodborne. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll probably check out, guns and stuff. I'm not really too overly into guns. And fuck me, did that game blow me away. Like, I nearly rejected Bloodborne just because the concept of Dark Souls with guns. And, that's probably the biggest recommendation which I've absolutely absorbed.
I always feel like if I'm going to give someone a recommendation, I want it to be a good recommendation. I know especially when it comes to like anime, I watch shit anime, but I also watch really good anime. So I'm not gonna recommend someone, watch Peter Grill. No, I'm not gonna. Okay, if you want to watch Peter Grill, go ahead. But for the other reasons, but if I'm gonna recommend an anime, I'm gonna recommend something good, like what's happened recently. I think I said this literally on the last episode, on a Halloween episode. If you've not already listened to it, go and listen to it. I mentioned Chainsaw Man. I recommended it to loads of people. They've been watching it, and they love it. And it's one of those. It's kind of me going, "Ha ha! I told you so." But I'm absolutely loving it, and it's just one of those things where if I'm going to give a recommendation, I want it to be good. I'm just not going to give shit, and I will always, whoever it's to, the recommendation will be towards that person.
Yeah, I feel like that's where a lot of people go wrong. It's like when they recommend stuff, they don't really sort of pay attention to that person's interests, or conversely, they probably won't brand it in a way which people will think, "Oh, you're talking shit, mate." It's like when I got branded, it's Dark Souls, but with guns. I was just like, "Oh, you're chatting shit, mate." But as soon as you tell me it's, it's like that medieval vampire hunting Edwardian thing with boss fights, gruesome, fast paced, that would have drawn me in. But just calling it Dark Souls with guns, it's just like, oh, okay. I mean, I like the swords and stuff, but guns.
You've been awfully quiet, Chris.
You've been talking. I don't want to talk over you.
I know.
So I'm always giving recommendations to like co-workers and that. Like the last one I said to one of my mates is like, "Oh, have you played Resident Evil 7 yet?" And he's like, "No, I'll play that then." And he did, and he liked it. There we go. Short story. It happens all the time. Another co-worker, he'd never played Dark Souls before, so I gave him a copy of Dark Souls. He's now got Firelink Shrine as his wallpaper on his phone now. So yeah, he's fell down the rabbit hole. But I've also been recommended. Let's try that again. I've also been recommended a couple of titles over the years. One of which very recently. Which leads us into the first game of the episode. We're actually going to talk about something now. I played a little game called Kill It With Fire. Have you heard of this game?
It sounds like it's about spiders.
How
did you get that name?
It just makes me think of like a meme or like something out of context clip out of like Family Guy or The Simpsons where it's just going, "Kill it with fire!" Ah!
Well, you're not far off. It's published by Tiny Build. If you don't know them, they're the people behind Untitled Goose Game.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a bit of meme influence. So, Kill It With Fire.
Is it on the Switch?
I believe it is, yes.
I'm literally it's on right now.
It's on Switch, it's on Steam. I played it on Game Pass. So, I didn't pay for it, so brilliant. But it has got DLC, apparently, which I've not played.
So does Entitled Goose Game.
Hooray! So, at first glance, I probably wouldn't have picked up this game. But one of my loyal Twitch viewers, he was a good egg, said, why don't you play this? Because I was looking at games to play for Halloween. And even though it's not necessarily a scary game, it does feature spiders, which I know people are arachnophobic. So I thought, screw it, that counts. So I gave it a quick whirl. And how it plays is it's level based, but every level is like a small sandbox, and they get bigger as the game progresses. So you start off in just your living room, and you get a little checklist, like a little clipboard, and the clipboard is also your first weapon. So it doubles up. So that's a nice little interface, I feel. Like the to-do list is your weapon as well. So basically, you hunt around your little flat or whatever level it is, looking for spiders, and you try to kill them. Not necessarily with fire, but fire is a component later on. There's several weapons. Well, there's quite a lot of weapons, actually. My favourite is the frying pan. I like the frying pan. Does the job.
I'm looking at the screenshots, and there's a screenshot of just an RPG, so...
Yeah, you get an RPG. Yeah.
There's a revolver, fire extinguisher.
Yeah, because there's also a little bit of an emphasis on destructible environments as well. So it starts off as hunting spiders in your living room, and then it's sort of a couple of levels later, you're at a gas station, and you're just blowing up an entire petrol station, just with a Molotov, just trying to kill spiders. So it goes completely off the rails later on. Sorry, I appear to be dying.
No.
It's all the smoke I've inhaled from trying to kill things with fire. So yeah, later on you get things like shurikens. You get vacuum cleaners to suck them up with. But the game, to keep things fresh and interesting, there's several different spider types. Ones that explode, because of course. Ones that spawn more spiders when you kill them. And to clear every level, all you really have to do is kill X amount of spiders to progress, because each stage has got a couple of doors that only open up when you've killed X amount. So kill 5 spiders to open this door, and so on and so on. But you've also get objectives in each level as well, and most of which are completely optional. But if you want to go for completion and unlock every weapon and some custom stuff like upgrades, then you're encouraged to go for them. And these range from anything from kill X amount of spiders in a short time limit, or use this weapon so many times. But there's other more creative ones as well, where you've got to solve mini puzzles. Say one level's got a Japanese themed garden, Chinese themed garden, and you just have to basically put little trees in the right place to unlock more stuff. So yeah, there's a few puzzle elements in, a few challenges as well, where you've got strict time limits to kill a bunch of spiders in a specific way very quickly. But the whole thing's got a good sense of humour to it. I had a laugh. Just when you just see the untold carnage going on, when all you're trying to do is just kill a small spider, and you're destroying an entire office building to do so. It gets insane. If I have one little nitpick with it, it's at the beginning of the game, trying to get the spiders is a bit of a pain, because you've only got your clipboard, and trying to hit them.
You've only got a clipboard.
Yeah, the hit detection's a little bit wonky, I think. It's not 100%. It's less of an issue later on, because you've just got so many weapons at your disposal. You can take them out anyway. You get a flamethrower and everything. So it's hunting them down is not a problem. But just to start with, it's a little bit tricky. But and trying to find them is a little hard. But as the game progresses, you also get a sort of what I can only describe as a PKA meter from Ghostbusters, where it just tells you where the spiders are, where they're hiding, or it's got a sort of motion sensor as well. But it's a really good game, and as I say, it's one that was recommended to me, and I probably wouldn't have given it a second glance, because it looked like the kind of thing you play multiplayer online, but it's not. It's a whole single player campaign, and I had a blast with it. So Kill It With Fire is a high recommendation for me.
Well, for that, you don't kill it with fire. You I don't know what you do instead. Don't light it with fire. I don't know. Play it. I don't know.
Play it with fire. This game is on fire. Go for it.
Yeah.
It's one you should watch out for. And over to Brandon, who's played a game with those words in the title.
Yes, we have, haven't we, Dan? We've been, well,
You
I mean, I
won
know
me.
I have. I don't know about you.
I've played it. I have been playing it, but not.
Yeah, no, but
as,
I've been having a blast with Overwatch too.
Not as religiously as you.
I fucking love it. I mean, it is basically just a reskinned Overwatch 1 with more pay for cosmetic aspects, but I mean, it's Overwatch, isn't it?
That is literally, after I played it, my literal words to you was, "It's Overwatch, innit?"
It is literally just Overwatch, but tanks are a bit more frontline, that's it.
Yeah. I think if so, yeah, we've been playing Overwatch 2. I think I've had fun. It's been fun playing it, and I will continue to play it. I think it made me go, why did I stop playing this?
Yeah.
That's what I definitely thought, and I think the reasons why I stopped playing it, I think it was the bad matchmaking, and I think on that front they have actually fixed that for Overwatch 2. I think it's far easier to get games in whatever role you want to be.
Yeah, 100%.
Before the transition, yeah, they did change it, but I remember I would try and be a DPS and I'd be in a queue for like 20 minutes, 20 minutes just trying to get a game, and it was horrendous. And even when it wasn't like that, it was far better, easier to get games. So at least on that front, it's far nicer to basically play whatever role you want to play as on Overwatch 2. The supports are probably still my favourite, just because they feel like they have a role. The DPS, you are just a DPS. Tank.
I'm loving the tanks because they feel so frontline and brutal now.
They are.
But obviously, my main gripe with Overwatch at the moment is that a lot of units are just broken. Like in particular, like Zarya is completely broken. D.Va is mildly broken. Symmetra's busted. Sombra's busted. Bastion was so busted they removed him from the game. Torbjorn was so busted they removed him from. They even removed some maps because they were broken.
Well, Bastion's back in now.
I know he's fucking broken still.
Oh, is he?
He's so tanky. He melts stuff.
I've not
it's
played
such
it
a pain in
yet.
the ass to deal with.
I did quickly update my game, and then I saw Bastion. I was like, oh, there he is. And I was like, oh, there's my Lego skin.
Yeah.
Oh God!
I mean,
the
overall,
Lego skin. Yeah. I've actually got a Lego Bastion in my room. Have I showed you that, Brandon?
I don't know if you have actually.
Okay, I'm gonna take a picture while we're recording, and I'll show you. But I'll put it in the chat. But yeah, I know I'm enjoying it. I think some of the things they've done, especially with the Battle Pass, have been terrible ideas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, unlocking cosmetics is just pretty much a no-go. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. 100% agree.
And the as of recording, well, at the time of recording, the Halloween event has just begun, and the Halloween skins are if you wanted to pay for them with money, they're basically 20 quid each.
Yeah, each.
That's horrendous.
For a single cosmetic.
I can't believe, like, I don't know, I've seen like a few things where it's like, why don't you put in the game loot boxes kind of in to a certain extent, bring them kind of back, or make them as Battle Pass rewards?
Yeah, because I mean, if you to unlock the currency, like if you was a free to play person for Overwatch 2,
what I am,
to get enough currency to get the Battle Pass, you need to complete every weekly challenge for 4 months. Just put that into perspective. You can get 60 points per week, and you need 1,000 points to get the Battle Pass.
Right, even Fortnite's easier than that.
So you need to literally need to play the hell out of the game for 3 to 4 months religiously to get one Battle Pass. So every 2 seasons, you might be able to have enough points for a Battle Pass.
Like, from the sounds of it, this is like nearly as bad as the Halo Infinite Battle Pass. Maybe I don't think it's as bad as the Halo Infinite Battle Pass. I think that is actually worse. No, I think that's been when it launched. That was probably like the worst Battle Pass on the market. But this isn't much better. Like, as much as I definitely know Chris is never not. You're not a fan of any of these multiplayer games, but COD.
And you're not selling it to me.
Yeah, but like Call of Duty, for the most part, it's Battle Pass. That and Fortnite are like the best on the market. I say market, but best out. If you're looking at like comparing Battle Passes, Call of Duty and Fortnite are like the bog standard are like the best examples of how to do a battle pass.
I think Genshin's is alright.
I have no idea about Genshin.
Yeah, Genshin, you get so much stuff as part of the battle pass. I mean, they've got the free battle pass, but I mean, obviously you've got to buy it with money. But you get a lot of stuff if you get the Genshin battle pass, like a lot.
But no,
And it's quite decent value for money, I say, for on Genshin.
for the most part, I think take away that the actual game of Overwatch, because you unlock as long as you played Overwatch 1, you unlock everything anyway. If you don't, if you have not played Overwatch 1, you have to play 100 matches to get all the other characters. So you only play as 3 characters.
Unless you play mystery heroes, you get to play them as them anyway.
Oh, do you? Oh, that's not too bad, but it's just mystery heroes.
I think it's if you want to use competitive or whatever. I mean, when I didn't have my account linked, I still had pretty much every character which I could play with. It didn't really seem like a problem with me.
Oh, no. It's not your linking of the count. As long as you've played Overwatch 1, it will register it, and then cause you just put in your disc, didn't you?
Oh no, it didn't register me at all. I had no skins, I had nothing.
Oh. No, it's not the skins. It's nothing like that. Because when I started Overwatch 2, I had nothing. Then, but I still had it all. I could still play as all the characters.
Oh yeah.
It's just it didn't. It knew I played Overwatch 1, but it hadn't. It was just merging it all. But it already knew, so I could still play as all the characters. Because on the thing, it had on the heroes, it has who's locked.
Mm.
But no, I've coming back. I've had a few fun games. I did put it in. I did mention it in the chat, but I was playing with my friend and her boyfriend, and then one of their friends. So it was near enough a full team of us. It was 4 of us, and yet now with Overwatch 2, it's 5v5 instead of 6v6. And we played a game where you could play as any hero, so you could have your whole team as one hero. And so we did that. My friend was like, let's all be, and these are her own words, let's all be Toblerone. And she meant Torbjorn. And so all 4 of us were Torbjorn, and then the random guy was like, eh. And so we joined in as Torbjorn, and we just somehow beat the other team as 5 Torbjorns. It was the push the bot map.
Yeah.
One of those ones. I quite enjoy those maps, actually.
They can be so chaotic sometimes if you get really shit teammates.
Oh yeah, they're annoying, but they're good fun. Yeah. It's like I said, it's been one of those. I'm surprised I stopped playing it, but yeah, Blizzard are absolutely I'm kind of not surprised, but Blizzard just from how great they were a long time ago. The internal affairs is really they've really dropped off as a company.
The cash grab on Overwatch 2 is just it is. I've never seen something as bad. I haven't seen it that bad since on gacha games. Like some of the other I play mobile games like Summoners War, and they are an absolute cash grab for stuff. Like it's possible to play it as a free to play. Don't get me wrong. Like eventually over time you will get stuff, but Overwatch 2 has made it very difficult to unlock everything because everyone's by default has some aspect of the battle pass. Like they might unlock something every 5 levels of said battle pass, but that's still you miss out on 80% of the stuff, and it's just it's a lot. And the fact that it takes 4 months to get enough current, ultimately what they should do is A, bring back loot boxes, or B, make it so you can get legacy currency a bit in the game, because legacy currency is what you use to buy like some of the skins. Make it more obtainable, because at the moment the price of stuff is just too steep for free to play people. And also, have you seen how you have to unlock some of the Halloween stuff?
No.
You have to watch an Overwatch 2 Twitch stream for 6 hours to unlock the Winston skin.
What? Which Winston skin?
The werewolf one.
What?
You have to watch an Overwatch 2 stream on Twitch for 6 hours to get the Winston skin. If you watch an Overwatch 2 stream for 2 hours, you get a voice line. It sounds bizarre, but it's 100% true. It's so weird.
What?
Yeah.
At risk of sounding like a boomer. Do you remember when you can just buy a game, you just had everything in it, and you just unlocked it normally? That was great, wasn't it? Mario Kart Double Dash, probably the best one for that.
Yeah, that is true.
Imagine if you had to buy, do microtransactions to unlock all the Double Dash characters and cars and everything. But by default, you've got Mario and Luigi.
That's why all this
hell.
stuff needs to piss off immediately. That's why I don't buy any game that does this shit.
Or just to ease it, just make it so it's not free to play. Like you have to pay something to buy it, but just make it so people can just unlock stuff, please.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
Just bragging rights. That's all it is. So,
We'll
I've
talk
got
about
this
something a bit
skin.
more cheerful.
Yeah.
Then we'll get anything more cheerful.
I'll tell you what. It's enough to make you Hulk out, isn't it?
Well, I was going to say one thing. Say one thing more about Overwatch 2.
Go for it.
Before
Make us depressed.
Before, as you can tell, we're going to move on to She-Hulk. What do you think about the new characters? I
love them.
I think that's the only thing I should probably ask is the new characters.
I like them. Like Kiriko is so cool. Her ult is amazing. Sojourn is broken. Junker Queen, I like her, but I don't feel like her ult has enough impact.
I thought that was what you thought about Sujin.
Oh, Sojourn, she's
Ultimate.
Her ult is similar to Soldier 76 in you get a burst fire of some sort, but it does a lot of damage. Like if you get someone who can aim those headshots, it is brutal. Kiriko is an absolute she plays like Ana, but her ult can turn things around if you get the right teammates doing the right stuff. It could, like me and Lacey, we play it together, and if I was playing like DPS, I'd play as like Soldier 76 and she plays Kiriko. She'll set up the Kiriko ult, and then I'll use the Soldier 76 ult, and it is just guns blazing hell. It's insane. Yeah, but I like the characters. I feel like they still need to add more supports because I feel like they're too heavily outweighed. Because if you think about it, you can choose 2 DPS, but there's like dozens of characters. You can choose 2 supports, but there's like 10. I feel like they just need to give people more incentive to play support, because at the moment no one wants to play support really, which is why the queue times for it are so short. Like people need more of an incentive.
Support feels more fulfilling. I feel you get rewarded more for support than anything else.
It gets really stressful when I'm playing as Brigitte and I've got more DPS than a Bastion or a Torb or anyone. Like if I've got more kills than the DPS and the tank, something is wrong.
I think the worst thing though is I think I saw something the other day where people were raging that a Moria was basically a DPS Moria, so she didn't heal at all and had like 9,000 points of damage. It was like, fair enough, you can do that, but your support, what are you doing? Why aren't you healing? Why are you basically playing a DPS?
Because people can't wait 5 minutes to queue DPS, so they think, okay, I'll queue support, play as Moira or whatever, or play as Zenyatta because they're basically damage dealers.
I know. I like the 3. I like all 3 new characters. Junker Queen, I'm mixed. To be fair, but I've not hardly played her. The other 2, I quite like them. Although when I first played as Kiriko, I didn't know what her. You know this, Brandon, but I didn't know what her little like tags did. So I kept.
You were like, Brandon, how the hell do I heal as Kiriko? Like, what am I doing?
And he went, well, they heal other people. I was like, oh. That makes more sense.
you were awakened when you found
out. Heal. I'm like, oh, she's a decent healer. Yeah. Well, as Chris already mentioned it, She-Hulk.
She-Hulk?
Okay.
Are
you going to Hulk out, Chris? Have you stolen She-Hulk's blood? I mean...
I'm not going to say anything under oath. Since she's a lawyer, knows she. Alright, so... She-Hulk's wrapped up for the time being, at least. I don't know if it's going to get a second series or not. We don't know yet. It is. Oh, good. I say good because I like this series. It's one of the better Marvel ones, I feel. Although the tone is completely different. I didn't know what we were going to get with this series when we first dived in. Even with the first time we mentioned this, talking about the first episode, so I wasn't sure what to get. But I like the tone it's taken. It's much more light-hearted. Nothing feels super serious. There's no massive stakes. It's played up a bit more for comedy, and it just breaks the fourth wall all the time. But not to the extent of Deadpool or anything. Unless you count the finale. Are we talking spoilers, or what do you reckon?
Maybe not exactly what happens in the finale because of what it is, but I guess everything else. Why not? Well, I've already said that Daredevil's in it, so I would say except for the finale, I think near enough everything else is fair game.
Yeah, okay.
Unless you.
It was mostly going to be the finale.
Unless you just want to go. Let's talk about the finale.
We'll be good. Let's not ruin it.
I think because of what the finale is, maybe not. If it was if it was like all the other ones, a bit more bog standard, I'd probably be a bit more like. Well, then I say that it's been a few weeks since it's been finished. Like it's been like a couple of weeks since it's finished, and by the time this comes out, it'd be about a month to be fair.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to play it safe and not.
I'll follow your lead.
Okay. So, what I like with this is, simply put, it actually made me laugh quite a few times. I think the biggest joke that got me was there's a couple, like the one where they're taking the piss out of people like review bombing the show, which did happen. Taking the piss out of people who do that. And another one, which I think is it the 7th episode, 6th or 7th one, where they have the wedding, and like she says, "Oh, what's this? We're going to have a wedding just before the climax of the series." It's like, and if that feels like it's jarring and inconvenient, well, that's weddings for you. That's when they appear. That's when they happen. That did make me laugh. And no, it's just sort of laid back. It's just nice to watch a show every now and again where it doesn't feel like the whole world's going to end and like it's super serious all the time. And I think after watching something like Moon Knight, it feels like a fresh breath of air to me.
Yeah.
You got a different take.
Yeah. I'm so mixed over it. Like, there's a lot of it I liked. There's a lot of it I thought was boring and I didn't like. But so I'm a bit more mixed. I really liked the majority of the Daredevil stuff. There was a little bit. I think it was maybe I'm not going to say specifics, but I think the last episode stuff with Daredevil was a bit but then everything else, I loved it with Daredevil.
Yeah, well, I'm fine with the whole Daredevil thing. So.
Oh yeah. Like I know a lot of people were like, he did the walk of shame. I'm like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
Like, fair enough, he did the walk of shame. What? It's just
who hasn't done a walk of shame?
I have.
You haven't lived unless you've done at least one.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not saying anything more. Anyway.
Well, I've done plenty. If you.
No, I was gonna say specifics, and I was like, no, we're not doing that. No, I enjoyed episode 1, and I think a few, like, I don't know, for me it just went so up and down. Some of it I really liked, some of it I didn't. Some of it I was just like, I have no idea. You know, it had its moments, but it also, at times I was like, I don't think this is actually good. But I don't know. I always hate, like, I always hate, like, shitting on something or not saying I don't like something. I hate doing it, but unless I know it's shit and I have to tell people. But when I'm like mixed about something, I always feel bad because like there was things I liked, but there weren't things I liked, and that was She-Hulk for me. Like all the Daredevil stuff I loved. Like I thought Jen and Matthew Mercer. Not Matthew Mercer. That's fucking Critical Role.
Matt Murdock.
Matt Murdock. Not Matt Mercer. That's fucking Critical Role. Matt Murdock. For She-Hulk, Daredevil, Matt and Jen, they got on really well. I liked their dynamic. I thought they were really good. But other things, like the guy who like designed the costumes, I was just like, whatever. I don't. But then you had like the frog guy. I was just like, he's so shit.
Well, that's the idea, though, isn't it? At the end of the day, they're shorter episodes. They're only like average like 35, 40 minutes each, and they made me laugh, and that gets a pass because I'm finding as I'm getting older, less and less things seem to make me laugh, and this one did, so it gets a pass from me. And we'll watch season 2 when it comes out.
I'm too deep into Marvel, so I know I will watch anything by Marvel because I'm that much of a drone to it now, no matter if it's good or bad.
I still haven't watched Miss Marvel. I will get around to it. But since we're talking about Marvel, shall we very quickly discuss the Ant-Man trailer?
Can do, yeah. I've only watched it once. I know.
Yeah, same here. So.
I'm trying to remember exactly. See, we finally have the first appearance of Kang the Conqueror. That was good to see. Finally have
Bill fucking Murray's in it.
Yeah, that I was surprised.
Oh hell yes.
We had I forgot her fucking name. Ant-Man's daughter.
Cassie.
She's now another actress. Now played by 3 actresses. Was it 3 or 4 actresses?
I can't remember. Well, the age gaps are different in every one.
It's definitely 3.
Did you feel the same as me? Did you feel old when you're looking at the characters at the beginning? And you're like, who's this character? And he says Cassie. He's like, that's Cassie. He's like, shit.
No,
I still think I was still going in my head, canon she's still a kid.
No, I knew because obviously she's older when in Endgame, but then I also remembered that they changed the actress from Endgame.
Yeah, she looks like she's like aged by like another 20 years. What?
I think for me the best bit of the trailer was when they were like, and now everyone knows my name. You're right, Spider-Man. I just was howling. I was absolutely howling. Oh, that was for me was the best bit. I was like, I don't even want to see Kang. That's just made the trailer.
Yeah, it did. Oh, and I'm like the throwback to like the Baskin Robbins. You got the boss there, like giving him the thumbs up. Yeah, I think this one's going to be a fun one, but I don't know how it's going to be, like whether it's going to like start off funny and then get more serious as it goes on. Because as I say, it's like bringing like the big bad for the next phase in. So
I think it might. I don't know.
I don't know. I think it might have a sort of bit of a downer ending somehow. I think something's going to hit the fan. I don't know. I get that feeling something bad's going to happen to like kickstart the next phase off.
No, I enjoyed what I saw. We still got Black Panther 2 next month, actually. Well,
it's a couple of weeks, I think.
Well, yeah. By the time this episode comes out, it'll be this current month. But of time recording, it's next month because we're still in October. Time recording. Yeah, even our next episode is not even out yet. Time recording. But
yeah, recording on Thursday, everyone. Time is confusing. Nobody knows what's going on anymore.
Well, it's not even been Halloween yet. For time recording, I know this is us in the past, while you're on the future.
It's a shame, really, we recorded the Halloween one where we did because I've pre-ordered the new Resident Evil 8 Village coming up, and we've had the announcements for Silent 2, Hill 2, and the Resident Evil 4 remakes as well since we last recorded.
Yeah, well,
stupid time. Why couldn't they do that before the Halloween episode?
Well, do you want to quickly talk about them? Did you watch them?
Fuck it, run or roll.
What's that? Sorry.
Did you watch the trailers for Resident Evil 4 remake and Silent Hill 2?
No, I don't really watch trailers, to be honest with you. They don't. I mean, it's probably a bit of a hot take, but trailers don't really interest me.
The only ones I tend to watch are like the Marvel ones.
Yeah.
Like game trailers, I don't tend to watch because normally if it's something that I want to play, I want to see nothing about it.
Yeah,
I want
that's
to go in completely blind.
I don't want to see anything of anything.
Yeah, but because it's the like remakes of games that have already happened, plus it's been like everywhere, it's like been unescapable for me at least, because the internet knows I like these two things, so it's showing me them at every opportunity. Thanks, algorithm. I'm really looking forward to both of these. Resident Evil 4 in particular, I think looks stunning. I think it looks really good.
I have watched both of these trailers just before we started recording. I guess, Resident Evil 4. It's the only Resident Evil I've played, and I love it so much. And the remake trailer looks so good.
It really is. You can light a cow on fire. I mean, come on.
I didn't watch the one where apparently the dog dies. I just typed in Resident Evil 4 trailer, and it was all basically pretty much all the cutscene, or majority of the cutscenes. But it looked absolutely fantastic. Clearly, they're just still using whatever engine they use for Resi 8 and maybe Resi 7. Well, not Resi 7. The engine that they use for Resi 8, Remake 2, and Remake 3. They're just still using that for Resi 4 remake. Yeah,
they've even used like the same logo for the title, like the bold white.
But Ada Wong looks fucking fantastic. Because in the original one, she just looked like a dark-haired American woman.
I think she looks worse in Resident Evil 6, but then again, nobody comes out and acts squeaky clean.
I was about to say it's Resi 6. I think you started the sentence going Resi 6. You were like, well, we know where this is going.
Yeah, it's never going to be good.
Leon looks fantastic. Well, it's Leon. You except for Resi 6. Leon it's Leon.
Oh, Leon. I'm not gay, but
yeah. Then it actually looks good as well. All the characters look good in the trailer.
Everything looks good.
It all look great.
I want it now. Why isn't it March yet?
It's coming out in March. Is it next gen only?
No, I think it's getting PS4 ports. I've seen. If it's still using like the same engine from like 8, and it should be.
I'm gonna check now while we're
sure it is.
It just says PC, PlayStation, and Xbox on the IGN.
Evil 4 Remake PS4. Please.
But then again, I might be thinking of Silent Hill 2. And honestly, Silent Hill 2, I'm looking forward to as well.
It is going to be on PS4.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. I've seen
it.
Yeah. It only makes sense for 4 to be on 4.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Unless I somehow get a PS5 before then, but with the way money is and the world is, probably not. So.
All right, Dan, I'll make you a promise. If I die, you can have a PS5. How about that?
No, I don't. I want my own. That is yours.
I'm going to be buried with mine.
You are going to be buried with yours. You're going to be like Mr. Beast, who got buried alive.
I don't get the reference.
No, it would be really cool to play Resident Evil 4. It's always fun to play Resident Evil 4. I know it was rumored that they were going to do the remake for a while, but to actually see even just the cutscenes, it just looked incredible. My only gripe is they changed Ashley's design.
Okay.
For 2 reasons. Anyway, Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, so let's say I'm looking forward to this. I'm not expecting it to the story to be be 1-to-1, and that's okay because we already have Silent Hill 2, and it still holds up incredibly well. You can still play it now, and it plays great. Story's phenomenal. So if they do keep it the same, which I doubt, then that's fine. They take it in a new direction, which I'm very strongly thinking they'll do, then that'll be okay as well. You still have to. And I'm still going to play and buy this anyway. There's no force on earth that will stop me from doing so.
Sorry, someone just put music on in the house. I was like, who the fuck was that? Sorry.
Oh, it's getting spoopy around here.
I know, I think my sister's...
It's an episode too late.
No, I think my sister's just come home. Anyway, so, I don't know, Silent Hill 2, I love the original, and it's one of those where even the voices are so iconic that as soon as I heard that they changed James's voice in the trailer, I was like, no.
But they've already redone the voices once. And no. Like if you get the collection, you can have original and redone voices. So I'm okay with that. I always put original voices on.
You wouldn't have you only have the original. You want to hear the terrible voice acting for James Sunderland because he's such a shit human being. Like you don't want him to sound really good, which he does in this remake. He sounds fine. I'm like, no, we need the awful voice. We need to hear the awful voice of this awful person. Yeah, he even looked okay. He didn't look fucked up. He just looked fine. And I was like, no, I don't know. It's
still early. It's still early days yet. They could change quite a lot of it.
Okay, yeah. My gripes is what they've done to James. Everything else looked great, but James, they fucked James up. I don't like what they've done with James.
He doesn't bother me at all.
He doesn't look right. You
just want him to look like Sean Bean?
No, I don't want him to look like Sean Bean.
Why did that catch me off guard so much?
No.
The problem with Resident Evil 4 is no one looks like Sean Bean. Dare they? Even the cows. Nothing like Sean Bean.
James, wait, how did you get to Sean Bean?
Obviously, we're just talking about Silent Hill 2. So then obviously just the mixed match between Silent Hill 2 and Resi 8 and Resi 4. So I was like, Oh, if you're not impressed what they've done with the character, just make it look like Sean Bean. Maybe it'll make it feel
Or
better.
just make him die.
Well, Sean Bean's in the first. Sean Bean's in the first Resident Evil film, isn't it?
Is he?
But yeah.
So
Not Resident
long.
Evil, sorry. Silent Hill film.
Oh, okay.
In the first Silent Hill film.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't remember him being in Resi 1 film.
Oh yeah. Sean Bean plays the small girl AI. Didn't you know that?
Oh yeah. As long as it dies,
You're
that's
all going to
Sean
die,
Bean.
don't you, you bastards. All right, now I want to see the film remade with Sean Bean playing every character.
Calling everyone a bastard.
It's like that. Oh, think of a film and then change everyone to Muppets except one actor. It's like, oh yeah, just pick what Fellowship the Ring. Change everyone except Sean Bean to Muppets. So it's just like Sean Bean's dying. He's just going and Muppet Aragorn, my king.
Oh, I'm just thinking of the letter in Silent Hill 2. I mean, instead of going Mary, he just goes Bean.
The thing is, when you say Bean, that just makes me think of Mr. Bean, because usually he goes
thinking that as well.
Bean.
Bean. Yes,
That's Sean Bean going Bean.
James Sunderland's voices to Mr. Bean's as well. Fuck it, why not?
That'd be brilliant. That would be better than what they gave for the remake. This remake trailer. I don't know.
Oh, Teddy.
Oh, Mary.
So hang on. So if we're gonna have Bean and Bean, which one is the dark side Bean and which one's the light side Bean?
Rowan Atkinson's going to be the dark Bean.
Oh, he has to be.
The dark Bean. Oh yeah.
For who James Sunderland is, it has to be Mr. Bean.
So you're walking down the corridor as Sean Bean, and like you hear the sirens go, "Woo," and then you just hear Bean.
Bean, and you just see Teddy walking up down the misty corridor.
Teddy wearing a giant rusty pyramid on his. We may have lost focus on this.
Like I said, everything except to do with everything to do with James Sunderland, I hated. Everything else looked great in Silent Hill 2 remake.
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking
It's
of Sean
not
Bean
that
stuff.
I guess while we're on something related to Sean Bean, I watched for the first time the Extended Hobbit Trilogy. I couldn't tell what had been added in the last film, but the first, especially the second film, it had Thorin's father, and it had more to do with the Rings of Power, and I was like, what the fuck? I had no idea this was all in the Extended Hobbits. I don't know.
Do you feel like now that you've seen parts of Rings of Power, do you feel like you've got a better appreciation of everything which is going on within like the Hobbit and everything?
Yes, definitely. Despite, yeah, I guess, yeah. No, after I finished Rings of Power, I was like, right, I've got to binge, or not binge, but I've got to go through the Hobbit trilogy again. Well, I've only watched it once. I've only watched the last film once, and the other two I think I've watched like twice or 3 times, and it's just all been the standard version. So I was like, I need to watch the extended versions, and then I'm gonna go through Lord of the Rings at some point. I was gonna do it tomorrow, but now I'm going out, so it ain't gonna be tomorrow. So last weekend I watched the Hobbit trilogy, all the extended versions. First one, it just had like a few extra scenes, mostly. That like there was a lot more in Hobbiton. Then there was a bit more in Riverdale. There's a bit more, an extra song. It was mostly just extra scenes. It wasn't like too much. The second film probably had the most, where the bit where Gandalf fucks off to go to find the necromancer. While he's there, that like they basically rewrote that whole scene, that whole section in the extended version of it, where while he's there, he finds Thorin's father, and he's alive, and that's like a whole thing. And then, yeah, well, Thorin's father dies anyway, but like that whole scene was like completely recontextualized certain aspects of the story, which weren't in the cinematic versions. And then the third film I've only watched once, so I don't know what was added, but it definitely felt better as the extended version of it than the normal version. I remember watching the normal version and not thinking it was that too great, but watching the extended version I was like, you know what, this isn't that bad. I still think it's the worst Middle-earth film, but it's not. I don't think it's as bad as I initially thought it was. But yeah.
It's been a long time since I've watched the Hobbit films, and the only time I've only seen the third one once, and that was still in cinema.
Yeah.
And I remember coming out being a bit disappointed.
Yeah,
I thought the best part of it was when Billy Connolly showed up and he says, "Have you just tried buggering off?"
Oh.
Well, that was the best part of the film.
the heavily CGI Billy Connolly.
Yeah.
I remember the CGI for him being terrible the first time I watched it, but he wasn't that bad when I rewatched it, or maybe it'd been done better. I don't know. He didn't look terrible, but it's still a heavily CGI Billy Connolly. But yeah, but now Rings of Power is finished. I don't know. I finished it. I don't know where about you two.
So I finished it.
And you haven't, Brandon.
No, I'm way behind on it.
What do you think, Chris?
Right, actually, before you say that, I need to ask you something, and I want you to answer this honestly as well.
Yeah.
Rings of Power was touted as the most expensive production made.
Yeah.
Do you feel like what you have watched correlates to that or not?
No. But then again, every single show seems to cost like hundreds of millions of pounds. So,
I don't know where they spent all that money, because it basically just looked like as much as what HBO has spent on Game of Thrones.
I imagine maybe Lord Sauron and the whole Orc army might have some high catering costs. That's where it might have gone.
You think they spend all the money on just catering for all the extras?
Yeah. Well, it's not cheap to put meat back on the menu.
Yes, back on the menu, boys.
I was like, I know Chris is going somewhere. I know he's going somewhere with this.
So honestly, what do we think? Well, actually, you asked me first. We're going back in circles. First off, before I say anything, thank you, Twitter, for ruining the out the ending for me. So I just go on Twitter, like I haven't caught up, and it's like literally like the day after the finale came out. So like time zone wise, it's only been like a few hours, and I was due to watch it that day. And I wake up, just check Twitter as I do, to check all my socials, and the very first thing that pops up is like recommended tweets. So there's no way I could avoid it. It's just like, oh, you might like this, and straight up it's just a picture of like 2 massive spoilers for the finale. I was like, thanks a fucking lot. Great. The only upshot I have with it is my hunches were correct. Yeah, the series is fine. I think it plodding along very slow to start with. It started to pick up at the tail end of the series a bit. But I know there's 5 series coming. So there's 5 that got down.
There's a lot.
So the whole thing just felt like, this is just going to be build up and build up and build up, and that's what a lot of it just felt like. The last episode wasn't bad, and it's, as I say, I had it spoiled for me, but my hunch was correct anyway. I'm not going to ruin it. But it's worth a watch. Just don't expect too much. I didn't expect too much. Like I went in, I was like, yeah, this might be fine. This might not be. It's never going to be like the trilogy. No. I don't think it's ever going to live up to that. But yeah, I think it's all right. It's not as good as some of the other series I've watched of late. But yeah, it's fine. Maybe the rest of the series will pick up a bit, but I don't know. The Dwarves are still my favourite characters. Dwarves are always the best.
Let me put it this way: I think the Hobbit trilogy is better.
Oh dear.
Yeah, fair point. I do like the first Hobbit film. What it's worth.
But I think I'm on the exact same wavelength as you, Chris. I think Rings of Power is fine. I have my gripes. There were moments I absolutely loved about Rings of Power, but I had my gripes. Episode 6 is incredible. That is the best.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That episode's incredible. The song Cavalry, I'm like Calvary. The song Cavalry. I've listened to the Rings of Power soundtrack the song Cavalry, I know for a fact is played in episode 6. Just listen to that song; it's incredible. And on the soundtrack, the songs surrounding that song Cavalry are great. Basically, just all the music to episode 6 is great. To just put it plainly, episode 6 is fantastic. I was on the way to going to my the gaming club I go to, and I was listening to the Rings of Power soundtrack, and all the episode 6 music came on. I was just like, oh, this is putting me in a great mood to go play board games at the gaming club. Oh, this is fucking well good. But the music is great. Like, it does feel like stuff. I don't know. It feels. I don't know. Some of it felt really good and had like had the themes, but I don't know. I'm the same wave on it as you. I think Rings of Power was okay. It had really good moments and had some other moments I'm not too sure on.
Yeah, for me, the best dynamic throughout the entire series was between Elrond and the dwarf character whose name I've forgotten. But I think it's the best. Durin. Yeah, who I think is the best character in it. So I appear to be dying again. Yeah.
They were great. I did like Galadriel, but
yeah, I think she's fine. Yeah,
but maybe for different reasons to everyone else, and that's fine. Like, I know a lot of people said she was terribly written, but I think I viewed her in a different way to everyone else, and that's just the way I interpreted her compared to everyone else.
Yeah, she's fine, and I think they've given her a good enough cause for why she is the way she is. Like, yeah, she gets a pass from me. Yeah. Not the best written character in the world, but it's fine. It's fine. I suppose it's the best way I could sum it up in 2 words. It's fine.
From the sounds of it, House of Dragons has just been better, apparently.
Yeah, from what I hear, but I've not seen it because it's not on any streaming service I have.
Well, I might be able to watch it, so I may be. Well, my sister was planning to watch it tomorrow night, but now I'm going out. I probably won't watch it with her. So, but I might still be able to watch it at some point. So
yeah, so I might have to use my shady, totally legitimate techniques to watch it.
Yeah. No, I think if you're a fan of Middle Earth stuff, I think I would recommend Rings of Power. But maybe take a pinch of salt in some aspects.
Yes, because they do change some of the details, but J.R.R. Tolkien said himself he's perfectly fine with there being different interpretations of his work, because he said like some of it's like canon, like, but a lot of things he left vague, like on purpose. Sorry, I'm dying again. He left like vague on purpose so other people can interpret his work however they want, so that they can give it some wriggle room. And that was like not a direct quote, but something along those lines. So I don't think his family's estate's like pissed off of it or anything. Plus, they probably got a lot of money, so that helps.
It's like the Numerians. That well, I think this is more a gripe at the show. I don't care. I don't care. But I know people who watched it who did massively care, and so. But the Numerians that are in the show, they have horses, and they ride into battle on horses in the show. In the lore, they don't do that, and they're meant to be like 7 foot tall, 6 or 7 foot tall, or something stupid like that. And they don't ride into battle on horses, and people complained.
Oh, whoopee doo!
But the episode where they rode on horses was anyway. I know maybe it's bad being like, well, I don't care. So what does it matter? But
yeah, I think people can get hung up on just like too smaller details, like on about like show like She-Hulk, and he can go like, oh, that's not the same as it was in the comics. It's like, so what? It's a different medium.
Well, to be fair, in some aspects, having the media different means, you know, it sort of gives you an incentive to purchase or look at both sides of it, doesn't it?
It does.
Like,
I mean,
if like the TV showed everything in the books, would you read the books?
Well, I suppose it depends on what it is I'm watching, but if you're getting mad at something for not being the same as like some other medium, is like, yeah, but that medium already exists, so why would you want to have the same thing?
It's just plagiarism.
Yeah, it is. What are they paying the script writers for?
Yeah, you don't need a script writer, just do the script based on the book.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they can change it and it's better. So.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah. Anyway, you've been a bit quiet, Brandon. Do you want to talk about anime or something?
Well, I suppose I'm going to talk about an anime which I've watched. I've been rewatching it because I think it's been hilarious, and also there's a new season of it out right now, so I've been watching that. And it's a little anime called Welcome to Demon School, Iruma-kun. And it's a little anime about a 14-year-old boy who is insanely unlucky, can't say no to anyone, and his parents basically, because they're struggling, basically sold his soul to the devil, or to a devil.
I've got one question.
Yes.
Is the 14-year-old boy played by Sean Bean?
No.
I'm not interested.
But yeah, but the basic premise is he was bought by a demon, and the demon basically is like, yes, I finally have a grandson. I can spoil him. I can do everything with him. Let's take him to school so we can basically settle in and everything and act like a real teenage boy. So he goes to demon school, and it's basically just like his daily life, attending to demon school, and he's steadily rising through the ranks to, basically be a demon, basically. It is incredibly funny. All the characters are just so lovable, and I'm absolutely having a blast watching it. And the way that Dan phrases it is, even though he's not seen it, he says it is an anime pretty much for me, just because it's like slapstick. It's very colourful.
Yep.
I really, really enjoy it. Like, it's got the hint of romance in it. It's harem-ish in a way. When I say harem-ish, it's everyone loves the main character, basically. That's the sort of thing that's happening. I mean, there's a couple characters in there which you'll back me up on this, Dan, but I hate it when certain characters are just overly ecchi and it just takes away from the plot. I mean, I'm a massive fan of ecchi, don't get me wrong, I absolutely fucking love it. But when you get characters which are just ecchi just for no reason.
Did I just sorry to interrupt, but did I send you that One Piece video that I sent to a lot of people earlier this week?
Oh yeah, it's the one with the two characters and the guy is just like, well, we're going to be simping for a bit. Yeah. It's certainly not going to be today.
That's basically that kind of to be honest, that actually kind of surprised me, because he normally does what you've literally just said, where it's like, I like fan service, but when they're over it, actually, that's normally what he said. But then I watched that and I was like, oh, I've got to record this.
Just to give you like another example, like Tamaki from Fire Force.
No, because I've not watched Fire Force.
It's basically just it's just when a character is just. It's just ecchi, just for no reason, and it doesn't actually add anything to it. Like, what's his name from My Hero? Gumball. What's his name?
Oh, Mineta.
Mineta. That's someone him, like, just that pervert, but for no reason, and it doesn't add anything to the story or any of the characters.
Yeah.
Like, it's just there, and it's just like an occasional cringe.
Yeah, he is cringy as fuck.
Like, in Demon School Iruma-kun, there's two characters in particular. One of them is like an owl demon who his special ability is he can communicate with any sort of animals. But he's thirsty as fuck, and it just gets irritating every now and then. But then there's this other one in there, it's like a little Cyclops one, who is basically acts like a woman in distress and saying, oh, the youth of summer is never enough for my lips, or something along those lines. I'm just like, oh, fuck off. Like, I just wasted 5 seconds of my life just watching you have a monologue about love for no reason. I mean, it doesn't, obviously, it's just really, really minute things. It doesn't take away from the whole grand scheme of things, but it just exists in it, and I could really do without it because I'd rather watch all the new action, the character development, everything. But yeah, so season 3 of Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun is setting with Iruma is now finally starting to learn his powers. So it's...
I thought he's a human, though.
Yeah, so what has happened is when he got taken in by Sullivan the devil, like one of the candidates to become the Demon King, he gave Iruma a ring, like the Gluttonous Feeder ring, which basically means in order for him to get through Demon School, because obviously there's going to be classes, there's going to be exams and stuff. So Sullivan's like, oh, to help him fit in, I'll secretly give you this ring, but Iruma didn't know about it. And what I'll do, I'll feed it some of my magic powers, which you can then use, basically. And that's the whole thing. And right, so it's a bit of a spoiler, but not a spoiler. It's just like quite a nice little trope. The Demon King from Iruma-kun, from Demon School, went missing, and the name of the Demon King was called Delicard. So just remember that name, Delicard. Iruma, when he got this ring, as he goes up in ranks at the school, so like there's a rank, like you've got level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 10's being the highest. So as he goes up in ranks at his school, his ring takes on different appearances. So when he was a rank 1, it was just basically like a screaming dark shadow. And then when it went to like level 2, the dark shadow could communicate. And then when he got to rank 3, all of a sudden it's now wearing a suit. It can cleverly communicate. And it says, "Oh, my name is Alecred," which, if you think about it, is the name of the Demon King, but backwards. So it's got the same name as the Demon King that went missing. It's got the same voice actor as the Demon King. So it's already sort of feeding those like little poppy seeds of like, this missing Demon King is actually in Iruma-kun, in his ring. So I'm really interested to see where it comes. It's one of those series where, you know, like sometimes there are series which you just absolutely love and you'd probably want to invest in the manga, the light novels, whatever. I don't think I've seen the Iruma-kun manga or light novels anywhere. Like, definitely not in the UK. I haven't checked Amazon really, but Forbidden Planet doesn't have them or anything like that. But it's just one of those series which is like, I'm borderline, I want to invest in it because I think it'd be really nice to own. But I don't know. It's just one of those ones I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I do want to invest in it, but it's just, is it going to be accessible? That's another concern of like manga in the UK is like nothing's really accessible.
Unless it's a big shonen or...
Unless it's like a big shonen where they print it even before the anime's released.
I want to get Call of the Night.
Yeah, but I mean, good luck getting the manga for that.
What do you mean? Like, it's in Forbidden Planet.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it going on? Is it like flying off the shelves?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it's in Forbidden Planet.
Get it then.
Well, on another anime note, I did mention it last podcast, but because it was Halloween, I didn't go into it. I actually finished my second rewatch of it today, actually, of time recording. It's only been out less than 2 months. I watched and rewatched Cyberpunk Edgerunners. So
was it edgy?
No. No. Yes. Not in places, but not really. So as Brandon knows, I'm a big Studio Trigger fan. Studio Trigger
Indeed.
are one of my favorite animation studios. The original how they started was they the majority of the people who made Trigger, they did the people who like co-founded Studio Trigger, they had a ginormous hand in a number of anime prior, and one that Chris will not zone out to is Gurren Lagann.
I need to watch that.
Yes.
I was already zoned out. I was zoned back in again.
Yeah, I mean, you won't, when I mention Gurren Lagann, Chris is going to be like, oh, so Studio
Watch that one.
Yeah, I know. One of my favourites. I think I did give it a 10 out of 10 on Mal.
I like the big when I got the big drill out. That's good.
Yeah, and when it pierces the heavens. The co-founders of Trigger, they did Gurren Lagann. They Trigger since basically Gurren Lagann, I've always followed them, and I have watched everything, literally everything. They did 2 episodes of Star Wars Visions. One of them was probably the worst of Star Wars Visions, and the other one was basically the Last Jedi of the Star Wars Visions. But especially one of them was definitely the thing with Trigger is they definitely have spectacle and style. Especially with Star Wars Visions, the first episode they did, even if you had no idea it was Studio Trigger, as soon as it started, you'd be like, it's a Trigger animation. It has that feel, that style, and they bring that all into near enough everything they do. And Cyberpunk Edgerunners is the latest one. I think it was in lockdown, I binge watched all the remaining Studio Trigger anime I hadn't watched. And I remember on my Instagram, I rated them all. And I remember in my description, I remember saying that they were doing a cyberpunk anime. And it's funny, being here now 2 years later and actually watching it and being like, my list for the best Studio Trigger anime is now defunct. because what was number one is not number one, because it's now Cyberpunk Edgerunners. It's the best anime they've ever created.
That's high praise.
And it's like Arcane. You do not need to have played Cyberpunk to understand anything. I've not played it. I have no idea what Cyberpunk 2077 is about. I have no idea about the world. But Cyberpunk Edgerunners, from start to finish, was a fucking banger.
Does it make you want to play the game now you've played it?
Yes, it really does make me want to play it. Really does.
If they've finished it yet, then.
If they finished.
I do remember reading like there was going to be an anime for like the Cyberpunk. It's like, but the game's not finished yet. Put resources into that. Finish the game first, and have your show.
It's got it just oozes with the Trigger style from start to finish. It's 10 episodes. Maybe they could have done an extra 2 episodes, maybe. But I would say each episode feels so compact, and the story's good. I think in some places it does get bogged down, but for the most part, it just hits everything it needs to hit in near enough every episode. The cast of characters are fun, different. They're all unique. They're all memorable. Like I'm literally gonna. The 2 female characters are both like drastically different, and literally funny. I sent one of my mates, because I know he's been watching it and he knows I've just finished watching it again. I sent him a picture of a cosplayer cosplaying as one of the girls, and he went to me, "I prefer the other one." I went, "I've got you," and then sent a different cosplayers cosplaying as the girl he likes. But like the music to the anime is great. It's majority of it is from the games. So like the big song that I've pretty much had on repeat since I finished it the first time is by do you know the band or duo? I think it's a duo actually. Let's Eat Grandma.
No
idea.
Well, one of the members of Let's Eat Grandma, she has done the what's basically the song that gets played throughout the whole of Cyberpunk Edgerunners. It's in Cyberpunk, but that was basically made as like, it's basically had a massive boom because of Edgerunners, and it's played so much. It's not even like the opening to the anime or the ending song. The opening song, you'll never guess who it is. It's Franz Ferdinand.
What?
I mean, it's still going.
I was thinking.
It's the alternative version of This Fire.
I thought Franz Ferdinand disbanded after my dad's band decided to start covering their songs, and they just couldn't cope with the humiliation.
Yeah, I remember. I think I got to the second episode. I was like, "Oh, I wonder what the opening is." It's just This Fire by Franz Ferdinand. I was like, "Wait, what? Wait, what's going on here? This is not a Japanese song. This is what?" And kind of on that note, I've watched both. I've watched Cyberpunk in Japanese and in English. I've watched it sub and dub. I'm going to be honest, dub was better. I like both, but dub felt more. It felt right for this anime. The sub, I think my complaints about the sub was there's a bit where the characters talk in their cyber brains, and it in sub it wasn't as good because it had to read it all. I know it's really bad. Yeah, I kind of don't know how to explain unless you watch it. You'd know, but it was so the cyber brain stuff is sometimes it basically broken English, and it's quite hard to follow. But when you hear it, it's easy to follow. So I found the dub for the cyber brain bits better, and the voice cast for both is fantastic. The main bad guy, the guy who plays him in dub, is the actor who plays Gustavo Fring in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Oh, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes, I don't know his name, but him. And then the main 2 characters, I don't know their voice actors and the voice actor or voice actress. I don't know their names, but they are iconic. Well, not iconic. They're very. If you've watched a lot of dub anime, they're like standard. They're very recognizable. I think they must have done a whole load of voices for anime games, and I actually It's also got Matt Mercer from Critical Role. He plays one of the characters. So when I rewatched it in dub, I was so looking forward to just hearing Matt Mercer. I was like, yeah, Matt Mercer's here.
I think you meant to say Matt Murdock there, didn't you?
No, that time I meant to say Matt Mercer. But no, honestly, I absolutely adore Cyberpunk Edgerunners, and I think I might rewatch it for a third time at some point. It's so good. It's Trigger taking everything they've done from Gurren Lagann and going absolutely bonkers. This is the best thing they've done. Not including Gurren Lagann. If I am going to include Gurren Lagann's better. But Studio Trigger have been going for 10 years, and they've made their magnus opus.
It's only like one shot. It's only got one series, right? I don't think they've been picked up for a second one, have they?
I don't know how they would do a second season.
No, that's what I thought. I read it's like just a.
I think people love it so much they want a second season, but it's not left out for a second season. Like without spoiling it, like there's no point in being it. Don't know what you would do for a second season. It would just be a completely new cast of characters if you would. Like there's literally nothing to all the threads have been tied.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll see what money says.
Nah, with how Trigger work, Trigger wouldn't. Unless they've only done one season 2, and that was Little Witch Academy, and then everything else they've done like sequels is it's the Gridman stuff where they did Gridman, then the second season was Daiserman, and now they're doing a Gridman/Daiserman film, which is literally the next anime they do. So that's the next Trigger anime I'll be looking forward to, but whenever that's out, I think it's next year or the year after, next 2 years. I don't know what they've got planned next, but I'll be watching anything and everything they do because it's great.
Well, okay, I'm going to put this to you and to the audience. What do you say if I actually watch an anime and I'm actually going to watch Edgerunners? Because it's one I've thought about sitting down to watch, and if you reckon it's that good, I'm actually going to sit down and watch an anime and give him my 2 cents for a change for the next episode. How does that sound?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? If it's bad, I'll blame you.
Yeah, why not? I love Trigger, and I kind of know when I watch a Trigger anime, I know what I'm getting in for. Because I've watched everything they've done, so I kind of know what to expect from them. So maybe there'll be some stuff you might not like, but I don't know. I'll be interested to see what you think.
Yeah, well, as I said, there's certain tropes in anime I don't like. Well, most of them, to be honest.
I don't think.
But I do like Gurren Lagann, and yeah, if they're more serious stuff like a light series like Death Note, where it's kept to like a minimum, it's like more. I wouldn't say serious, but like toned down on all the cutesiness and.
Oh, this is definitely not cutesy. There's like nudity and all that, and like so
there's naughty bits in it. You didn't tell us that, Dan. I can't watch it now.
Oh no, yeah.
Oh no,
because I'm watching it right now.
My internet history would be ruined.
Yeah, the main female character is like naked for a lot of it.
Let's see.
For apparently plot reasons.
So there you go, kids. If you're gonna watch Edgerunners, watch it in incognito mode.
All I'd say is I recommend dub over sub for Edgerunners, and
I would watch it like that anyway because I don't speak Japanese.
Yeah, but
and even if you say, I speak a little bit of Japanese, it's like, well, no, unless you speak the actual dialect that the character, you're still gonna miss out on nuances.
Episode 6 is probably like the standout episode of Edgerunners.
How many episodes you say there were? 10?
10, yeah. Episode 6 is a standout episode.
That's not too much. It's like when you say, watch a series like One Piece. It's like, well, I don't plan to live that long to watch all those episodes. But if it's only 10, that's fine. I can deal with it.
Only 10. No.
I can find time for that.
But you know what? Our audience can find time for. They can find time to follow us on social media, like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
And we promise we will upload something to YouTube.
Whenever you decide to do that.
And also, if you follow on social media, if you post any questions, we will happily talk about it or
because
podcast.
I thought sometimes to like close off an episode would be nice to like do a Q&A thing. So Mr. X from Swansea says, Something.
Says, why does Brandon look awfully like Sean Bean?
Wait, you didn't die.
Bastards.
And follow us on, if you're not, whatever podcast service you're on, follow us on it. If you're on Spotify, rate us, give us 5 stars. These two will be streaming on Twitch.
Yes.
I always forget when you're streaming, because now I've got Twitch on my new phone, but I haven't signed in, so I never know when you're live now. And then I just go on Twitch on my PC. I'm like, oh, you're live. Oh,
How convenient! That means we can tell you exactly when we're live, then on air. How wonderful! Well, I'm normally live on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Mondays.
there we go.
And I'll be streaming in and out because I've now started a PhD, so I've got no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
So
Hooray!
Yeah.
So as we say here at Victory Achieved Podcast, we do this for fun. We make no profits on this whatsoever.
Wait, you don't get paid?
No, you getting paid?
What? No, not me. No,
we do this just for fun. We do it purely for the love of us being complete geeks and wanting to entertain you. That said, me and Brandon will quite happily take all of your money on Twitch. So
yeah.
if you want us to sound better and have better microphones, then
A prime sub.
Prime sub costs nothing. But if you want to give us thousands of pounds, we will quite happily take that. I will even give you a shout out on the show. I am a cheeky fucker, aren't I?
You are, aren't you?
Yes, I am. But I do like money.
One final note: Crunchyroll broke down because of Chainsaw Man this week.
I've not had any issues with it.
So yeah, if that doesn't mean that Chainsaw Man ain't great, well, anyway, you've heard us for another week.
But it happened when
Hold on. Elaborate for those in the know. You can't just tell me that something's broken and don't tell me why.
The servers for Crunchyroll, the servers went down when the 3rd episode of Chainsaw Man was released this week.
Oh, I see. Because I couldn't keep up with the demand.
Yeah,
No, it's just Power being naked.
No. Okay.
Best girl. Anyway,
That's what broke it.
best girl.
Fair enough.
Fuck Magma.
Fair enough. That I can get behind.
Well, you've heard us for another 2 weeks. You'll hear us soon.
Yeah, you can hear my review on Edgerunners.
Apparently, I'm interested. You need to watch it, Brandon.
Have we spoke about Skull and Bones yet?
For fuck's sake.
No, we haven't talked about 4 either.
No.
Okay.
Or
Wind Waker.
Or Doom.
Definitely not talked about Doom. We definitely need to talk about Doom more. I've told you I like Doom.
By the way, whoever's been like listening to our Doom episode, thank you. It's fucking blown up. I have no idea why.
People like Doom.
Yeah, simple as.
Simple as.
So, Doom Eternal episode at some point. I need to buy
Yay!
Doom Eternal. I need to buy Doom Eternal.
Let's do an entire retrospective. This is now a Doom Achieved podcast.
Doom has come to you.
Rip and tear until it is achieved.
Rip and tear, boys.
Yes.
Bye.
I'm going to bed now.